Today is the 7th day of the 10th month in the 9th year of Channel Group, November 11, 2021. To begin our day, let's offer our respect and gratitude to our Heavenly Parent and true parents of heaven, earth, and all humankind. 천지인 참 부모님께 경배. 바로 let us recite 가정맹세.
가정맹세 1. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 본향 땅을 찾아 본연의 창조 이상인 지상 천국과 천상 천국을 창건할 것을 맹세하나이다. 2. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님을 모시어 천주의 대표적 가정이 되며 중심적 가정이 되어 가정에서는 효자, 국가에서는 충신, 세계에서는 성인, 천주에서는 성자의 가정의 도리를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 3. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 4대 심정권과 3대 왕권과 황족권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 4. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님의 창조 이상인 천주 대가족을 형성하여 자유와 평화와 통일과 행복의 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 5. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 매일 주체적 천상세계와 대상적 지상세계의 통일을 향해 전진적 발전을 촉진화할 것을 맹세하나이다. 6. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님의 대신 가정으로서 천운을 움직이는 가정이 되어 하늘의 축복을 주변에 연결시키는 가정을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 7. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 본연의 혈통과 연결된 위하는 생활을 통하여 심정 문화 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 8. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 천일국 시대를 맞이하여 절대신앙, 절대사랑, 절대복종으로 신인의 일체 이상을 이루어 지상천국과 천상천국의 해방권과 석방권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다.
Our opening prayer, we request Master Adonis Auxilia.
Okay. Beginning prayer. Good morning to you, our precious Heavenly True Parents. Parents, before we start our Handoke morning devotion for the Philippines, we invite your divine presence to be with us, your guidance and protection. Heavenly Parents, today as we receive your words and wisdom, we may grateful because the parents today we gather once again as one family, Philippines, even though we are far from each other, but we can connect through the internet. Living parents, we pray for true mother for her good protection because she's continue praying for through all the world because she really want to save this world. Living parents. Now, as we gather here in Philippines, we pray that we can also accomplish our task. Our responsibility that is given to us, together our brothers and sisters in the Philippines, work hard so much because we believe in the parents that if we unite each another, we can accomplish our goal. And through this, we want to offer this glory to you, our hard work, our brothers and sisters around the Philippines. So my prayer and report, giving gratitude in my name. Adonis Sisters Lesson sa Panginoon, you.
Let's have our unison prayer. Good morning to all our heavenly parents and also to our victorious parents, Junbo families, Central Blessed families, brothers and sisters. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. So to start with our day, we're going to hear our Hondoki reading given to us by our sister Jennifer Bertolso.
Good morning, everyone. Mother of Peace, a memoir by Hak Jahan Moon. Chapter 4, God's light shines upon a path of thorns, continuation. Even in the hottest of the summer days, I will not get into the cold swimming pool. It's because, as I mentioned, I give birth to many children, 4 of them through cesarean sections. When I was giving birth to our 16th son, Young Jin, I was in danger because his head was so large. My husband was in Germany, and I was told it would be dangerous for both mother and baby if we did not act within 30 minutes, so I had no choice but to undergo a cesarean section. Once you've had a cesarean section, it becomes difficult to give birth naturally. That being so, I prayed with a desperate heart. During that prayer, the scene of Jesus' crucifixion came to me. I managed the pain with a resolution that through the birth of new life, I would overcome the force of death that surrounded Jesus on Calvary, as it is for all women by giving birth to a new life was an experience of heaven and hell. I did not find it easy to have 4 C-sections, yet each time I gave birth, I was ready to die for the sake of God and for the sake of a new life. In the same way that our house grow lively as we filled with children, our churches keep springing up in cities and villages, filled with new members. From the outset, however, our goal was not to have the biggest church in Korea. Our goal was to bring salvation to the world. As a true church that would wipe away all of humanity's tears. To accomplish that goal, I went on a multiple world tours following the first one in 1969. From the early 90s, I was the keynote speaker. I give more speeches at the more rallies, events, gatherings, and seminars that I can count. My footprints are found in almost every corner of the globe, ranging from the unfamiliar metropolises to small primitive villages, from deserts scorched from the burning sun to thick jungles and breathtaking highlands. At each place, marginalized peoples, helpless women, children, and minority groups were waiting for me, and I anxiously looked forward to see them. I knew I could offer them peace of mind, yet I thought advance the cause of peace. Different hotel every night, and I resumed the work and dawn the following day. It was typically typical for me to enter such a room in an unfamiliar city and sleep in a chair for a few hours, or to close my eyes while leaning back in the waiting room at an airport. Sometimes I came and went from a city without opening my suitcase. My mind was on meeting the people who were waiting for me. When I spoke in a communist nation, for the first time, I sensed the presence of spirit persons outnumbering the living people who received me. While in the region was embroiled in war, I went to Croatia. The moment that I entered my hotel room, I knew that there were souls that had undergone unjust and miserable deaths, waiting for liberation. To liberate them, I did all-night prayer vigil. When I go to Africa, I take anti-malarial medication. Once in an incorrect prescriptions caused me to suffer severe side effects, and I caught malaria, experiencing pain and high fever. Hectic tour schedule left me no time for a treatment. Somehow, along the way, the malaria disappeared. In the autumn of 1996, I went to Bolivia, where I had an experience I cannot forget. The capital, La Paz, is the highest major city in the world. At an altitude in almost 4,000 meters, non-natives inevitably suffer from altitude sickness. Scheduled to speak for nearly an hour, I had an oxygen tank beside me at the podium. To make matters worse, the podium started to tip over every time I leaned on it slightly. The only solution was to have a strong young member hold the podium steady whilst I spoke. People were concerned, but I smiled throughout the speech. I felt nauseous, and I had a throbbing headache, and my legs were trembling, but I ignored it all. Under such circumstances, on the verge of collapsing, complimented me for my presentation. A local dignitary said she really is a person sent by God. The event was a tremendous success, and at the victory celebrations that evening, I warmly held the hands of each participating member individually. Even though I was exhausted, I maintained a high spirit for the sake of the precious guests, VIPs, and members who had come from far away to meet me. It turned into a joyous occasions as we encouraged each other. When I returned home, my husband, who listened to all my speeches by phone or later through the internet, but patted me in the back and expressed his appreciation. Where else could you get such a blessing? He said, having such a success is a place that is 4,000 meters closer to heaven. Besides bringing the word, God, Aju.
Thank you so much, our Sabunin Jennifer Turpulpo, our world champion in last World Mastership competition. For now, let's proceed to our 10 points of gratitude, and this will be given to us by our Song El Modo Regional President in Cordillera Autonomous Region. It's helping to welcome our Master Leslie and Binoan.
Okay. Good morning, parents. Good morning, brothers and sisters. For today, thank you so much for today's opportunity to share my 10 points of gratitude. First, I'm always thankful to God for waking me up every morning to do my own portion of responsibility as an individual. Second, I'm very thankful for God and true parents' daily inspirational message, words, and actions. Third, I'm very grateful also to all our hardworking leaders, our blessed families, and all our members, especially here in the Philippines, who are really always doing their best in their own respective missions. Fourth, I'm thankful for my Sunhak Universal Peace family, also who are part of my inspiration in continuously striving hard to become a better person. Fifth, I'm very grateful for my Tong Ilmudo family here in the Philippines, especially Tong Ilmudo in my hometown, that through this, I can freely serve God and true parents in my own hometown, even if it's pandemic. And sixth, I'm thankful for my spiritual and physical families, especially my parents and friends who keep on supporting in my mission and also in my own personal life, in their own capabilities and desire. Seventh, I'm somehow grateful also for this pandemic era that I can have the chance to be with my physical family a little bit longer and also to pioneer Tong Ilmudo in my own province. And that I have learned to do some personal stuffs like some sidelines or to earn financially. And also, I'm very thankful for the collected experiences that I had during this pandemic. Eighth, I'm thankful and happy for the continuous activities and events of the Philippine Providence. It keeps me being challenged on striving hard also to do uh, my best in the front line for God and true parents. Ninth, I'm grateful indeed for having a spouse and being blessed. It's a really different struggle to manage and a different experience within, but it's my challenge also to overcome and love myself, love my spouse, and to become a better person whom God really wants me to be. And lastly, I'm forever thankful and grateful for Heavenly Parents' love through all my experiences every day with the people I meet and been part of my life through the life struggles and challenges for me to learn to become a better and filial daughter to God and true parents. 감사합니다. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much to our Master Leslie Dunoan, the President of CAR Region, Tong Ilmudo, for your wonderful learning and experience in this pandemic time, especially on your 10 points of gratitude. Now we move on, my dear brothers and sisters. Let us see the last performance, the winning performance of the Philippine National Tong Ilmudo team to represent the Philippines in one of the big tournament online World Mastership competition. Brothers and sisters, let us witness their performance.
그럼 이제 통일무도 원스텝 스파링 남자 경기 결선을 시작해보도록 하겠습니다. 첫 번째 순서는 필리핀의 북코스토 탈라 선수 영상입니다.
시작!
ranking is first place, the Coastal Peralta from the Philippines, second place, Cho Kyung-jin Yeo-jin-soo from Korea,
금메달은 필리핀의
third place,
이바타도스
Ibatados from the Philippines.
Thank you so much to our national team who were able to become a champion during the World Martial Arts Mastership competition. And we were able to gain more courage and confidence to continue to participate in the world competition. And to inform everyone that we are going to represent again the Philippines in the next on December 18 to 31 in the next Mombasa World Championship. And now, my dear brothers and sisters, we move on to our internal guidance. Let's prepare our heart and mind, spirit to receive our spiritual food this morning. This will serve as our guidance for the whole day. So please help me to welcome our Reverend Leo Angelo Halog, our national leader.
Thank you very much, our Master Bernard. First, I would like to offer my greetings to our Heavenly Parents and true parents. Good morning, our Heavenly Parents and true parents. To all our beloved leaders, Chango families, the Santo families, beloved brothers and sisters. Good morning to all of you. Thank you very much for joining again our Hundukya this morning. I would like to express my gratitude to our Tungil Mudu family for hosting today's morning devotion. I thank you very much for that wonderful performance and really bringing pride to our nation. So let's really congratulate our Tungil Mudo for really becoming number one in the recent tournament in Korea. Let's give them a big round of applause. Thank you very much, Mr. Bernard, and to all coaches, also Master Nikki, and all our players who are really dedicated and not only to be known, but to be able to really, this is their attendance, our Heavenly Parents and true parents. So we are really proud, our brothers and sisters, and we pray. They are now preparing for Mombasa, Kenya. So let's really pray and try to help them. This time is, I think, not really challenging, because before it's Mombasa always supporting their flight tickets going there, but this time, because also of COVID and some situations, it's not easy. So they are trying to find some sponsors now who can support. So if you have some, also especially in the government, they can receive help and they can represent our country. Every year, actually, they're bringing a lot of victories from Kenya to the Philippines. So really are grateful to our brothers and sisters who are really bringing so much pride, not only for our country, but especially to our Heavenly Parents and parents. Thank you very much, Mr. Bernard. This morning, I will be sharing with you so today is day 5. So today we're going to continue sharing about husband and wife relationship in the family. So today I will be sharing the good and the bad in husbands and wives. So let us study this together. Before this, I would like also to thank our sister Leslie. A long time I couldn't meet her. She is doing well in her province, in Mountain Province. Yeah, she graduated from UPA, and I think also she's preparing also. Actually, her mission country is in Cambodia. So anyway, thank you very much for sharing your beautiful 10 points of gratitude, Sister Leslie. So I would like to begin now with this presentation. So the good and the bad in husbands and wives. True Father said, once Satan enters a family, it breaks down. What is the problem with families today? Isn't it that both the husband and wife are insisting, live for my sake, and you must love only me? Such a selfish attitude is the characteristic of Satan. So God will leave such a family. Once Satan enters a family, it breaks down. The parents raise the children, insisting, "You must live for us." The children tell their parents, "Father, mother, live for me." They each want the other to live for their sake. So the family breaks apart. So we can see this is really the root of all problems in the family. When we demand, that our partner, especially our spouse, between husband and wife, is demanding, you demand that your spouse live for you. So if husband and wife live life like this, when they also have their children, they also demand their children to live for them. So this kind of attitude, Father said, such a selfish attitude is the characteristic of Satan. So God will leave such a family. Once Satan enters a family, it breaks down. So that's why how serious our true parents to continue to educate us about practicing, living for the sake of others, this philosophy of living for the sake of others. So if we only live for our own sake, that's the time Satan comes in. So if we, between the relationship of husband and wife, if each one of them lives centering on oneself, then Satan enters in the family. Satan enters in that relationship. When the parents just only demand from their children, or the children, they only demands from their parents, what happens? Satan enters in such family, and then the family breaks down. So this is what's happening in our society. Not only in our society, sometimes, also there are some situations. That's why really, how can we live such a life that true parents is teaching us? This is what we are all struggling about, right? We are really trying our best. So how can we really live a life that only thinking that we have to live for our spouse? Parents needs to live for their children. Children needs to live for their parents. So if we could be able to have this kind of attitude in our family, wherever we go, it will just, be applied as we are applying in our own families. Wherever we go, we will apply this kind of attitude, this kind of practice. So this is really the most serious problem, right, in the families now, that expanded in our society, in the nation, in the world. So that's why really how important the family, continuously understanding the importance of the relationship of husband and wife. So we shouldn't have any, hole for Satan to come in. So really living for the sake of others, this is the practice that Satan cannot invade our family. If we practice this, Satan cannot come, right? Satan has no way to destroy families. Aju? So that's why Father said, the parents raise the children, insisting, "You must live for us," or the children tell their parents, "Father, mother, live for me." So if they each want the other to live for their sake, so the family breaks apart. The family breaks apart if only thinking of oneself, right? So really, this is the root. So, but if we can really, that's why we practice, we learn from true parents, we practice in our own self as individual, and then once we enter in the second level of our life, we practice this with our spouse. Then, if we really live such a life, then Satan has no way to enter. Satan has no way to come in to our families. True Father said that the central point of marriage should be love. Wives often lie to their husbands, and husbands to their wives, in order to hide things from each other. Each tries to possess a realm over which they have sole control. If your family is like this, you are still connected with Satan's world. When a wife suggests to her husband, "Please do this," he answers yes. When the husband suggests to his wife, "Please do this," she answers yes. Is it right when a husband and wife obey each other like that? Should the central point of a marriage be the husband, the wife, or their love? It should be love. So really, this is very important. What is the central point Father is saying here? What is the central point of marriage? The central point of marriage should be love. So Father is making an explanation here. Sometimes, wife lie to their husbands, the same way husbands also lie to their wives. So in order to hide things from each other. So each tries to possess a realm over which they have sole control. Still, even though they already get married, they still try to live like a life of being a single person. They try to hide, from each other. So Father said, if your family is like this, you're still connected with Satan's world. That's why once we enter in this relationship, once we marry, actually, we cannot just make decision already on our own. Always we have to consider. That's why when these two become one, cannot separate anymore. If the only one person is only deciding, like you're again making a separation, right? So once these two, being a man and a woman, become one, everything should be centered on the relationship, centering on love. Father said. So that should be the center point, not only centering on the wife. The wife becomes subjective, the husband only follow, or the husband becomes subjective, the wife only follow. Not only, either the husband or wife is not the center, Father said. It should be centered on love, right? Centered on love, centering on our Heavenly Parent, and then really living for, one another, sacrificing oneself. So this should be the center, Father is saying, right? And then they should really, make decision as one. And then have to share everything to each other. Yeah, ito yung nagiging madalas na why husband and wife fight. They are actually not sharing. Yeah, they are not, telling everything to the spouse. They are hiding some part. They live life like, still hiding some part of their life. So that's why this creates a problem. When husband and wife live like this, Satan will surely come. And then, make this, gap that we are creating even bigger and bigger and bigger until one day husband and wife separates, until the family breaks apart. So the center is really important. Right? The center should be love, Father said. Really living for others. The center should be, true love, centering on our Heavenly Parent. So with this relationship, husband and wife will never, have problem. Of course, there are, small things between husband and wife, but these are not really, just a small misunderstanding. Very easy to settle if husband and wife are really, living a life centering on true love, centering on our Heavenly Parent. So that's why really the center of this relationship is very, very important. It's not either the husband or wife, but it should be love. True Father said, your spouse stands before you as God's representative on earth. It is not easy being a husband. Although you come home tired from work, you still have responsibilities toward your wife. Although your work was full of difficulties and aggravations, you still have responsibilities toward your wife. The greater the difficulties, the greater are your responsibilities toward your wife. The fact that you are tired is no excuse. The same is true for you, wives. It does not matter whether you like your husband or do not like your husband. You still have responsibilities toward him. The basic rule is joint responsibility. Your spouse stands before you as God's representative on earth. He or she is in a unique position as God's representative more than any other person in the nation or any other person on earth. Husbands and wives who have thoughts other than this while they live on earth will go to a fearful hell. So really, many times true parents emphasize that our spouse is God's representative on earth. Kaya po, while we are single, we are looking for God, we pray deeply and really look where God is. But once you have your spouse already, once you have your husband or your wife, already God's representative substantially come to you. You don't need to look for God anymore. Your spouse is God's representative on earth. That's why, Father, in the previous days of our Hunduke, we have to really treat our spouse as God. We are living only for our spouse. That is the main purpose of our life, right? That's why Father is explaining here. To be a husband is not easy. The same is true, to be a wife is not easy. So even though, husband comes home very tired from work, but still you have a responsibility towards your wife. And then you cannot make excuses that because you are tired, you cannot fulfill your responsibility toward your wife. The same is true with the wife. Wife also whole day very busy, taking care of children, taking care of house chores. When husband arrives home, still the wife has responsibility to the husband. But because sometimes, husband is tired, wife is tired when husband comes home, because of, they use this as an excuse not to fulfill the responsibility towards each other. Because I am tired, also the wife said, I am tired, then they not fulfill anymore the responsibility towards the husband. When you come home, you have another responsibility. Yesterday, we were sharing, right? That, husband and wife, we have many roles. We have many roles. So we have to fulfill all these roles. So when the husband comes home, even he's very, very tired, still he needs to fulfill his responsibility as a husband. The same is true with the wife. When the husband comes home, still the wife, despite, the difficulties of the work at home, still the wife needs to fulfill the responsibility towards husband. If the husband didn't eat dinner yet, so the wife, need to prepare food for the husband, right? Or give some massage. Also, the husband after comes back home, if he still, need to, how to help the wife also with the house chores, right? Also taking care of children. So if husband and wife live life like this, then how beautiful it is. How united will become, the husband and wife. Aju? So the basic rule, Father said, is joint responsibility. So we have to really think, do not forget that really, when I come home as a husband, or when my wife should think, when my husband comes home, I need to attend my spouse as God's representative, right? I need to attend my spouse as God's representative. I need to do my responsibility, no matter what. Aju? Father said, he or she is in a unique position as God's representative, more than any other person in the nation or any other person on earth. So Father said, husbands and wives who have thoughts other than this, while they live on earth, will go to a fearful hell. This is what Father said. So that's why we have to really remember, whatever work we are doing, towards other responsibilities that we have, but we have to always remember how to fulfill our responsibility towards our spouse. Aju? Really amazing. True Parents is teaching us detail by detail. The actual setting, the actual situation of husband and wife, right? So if we can perfect this, we can perfect our families. Once we perfect our families, we can contribute in perfecting our society. Aju? Then very clear hope one day we can really build beautiful nation. Aju? And then we can really create a heavenly unified world. Truly amazing. So we have to really treat our spouse as God's representative on earth. Our spouse is our God, substantially. Aju? Wow, truly amazing. True Parents' guidance. Father said, we must create harmony with heaven everywhere in the cosmos. Likewise, as parents, you have to be careful that you never cause your children to say, our mother and father are always fighting. If your children see you like that, then regardless of how well you do otherwise, you will end up in hell. Rather, you should act in such a way that your children say, our father represents God. He is God in our home. Our father is our home's president. Our father is our home's saint. They should say the same things about their mother. The sages of old had a saying, all is well when there is harmony at home. In the Unification Church, we go a step further and call for harmony with heaven. We must create harmony with heaven everywhere in the cosmos. Wow, truly, how important it is to really have harmony in the home. So Father is saying that as parents, you have to be very careful that you never cause your children to say, our mother and father are always fighting. You know, if your children are saying, my papa and mama, they're always fighting. Father said here, if your children see you like that, then regardless of how well you do otherwise, you will end up in hell. That's why Father said, do not show to your children, you know, when you have misunderstanding, you have, you know, you are fighting, you know, sometimes not easy, you know. That's why if we cannot control ourselves, our emotion, sometimes even in front of the children, we just burst out, you know, this is really problem. That's why we have gone through training. Again, this where training comes in. Because if we cannot have control in our own self, it will always happen in front of our children. Sabi nga ni Father, di ba? In order for us, Father's motto, kaya nga Father's motto, before having control over the universe, first need to have self-control. Also, today, our brothers and sisters in martial arts from Ilmudo, they are the host today. So through martial arts, we can really learn, you know, and practice unity between mind and body. How to have self-control. When we have self-control, actually we can overcome any situation. But if we don't have, this is always the ones that brings problem towards, you know, man and woman relationship, man and woman relationship, every situation. If we don't have self-control, even after we start our family, even after we overcome many things, and then maybe once we start family, it will always comes if we cannot control ourselves. That's why many situations in our own families. Sometimes just suddenly we burst out because we cannot control, right? And then the children are there. So it, you know, it always keeps in their mind, in their heart, our children. And then later on, how they describe their parents. My parents are always fighting. So this is the most, you know, like worst thing. If your children, you know, in their mind that only their parents are always fighting. Father said, instead, rather, you should act in such a way that your children say, our Father represents God. He is God in our home. Our Father is our home's president. Our Father is our home's saint. They should say the same things about their mother. So really, in short, we should become the ultimate model for our children. This time, many young people, they are idolizing, you know, the popular actor or actresses they are watching in TV or they can see in social media. If our children's idol is these people, really this is problem. Their idol in their life should be their father or their mother. A Jew, and then we don't have any problem to raise them up. That's why really everything depends on the husband or wife. How we are living our life as husband and wife, as a couple, especially in our own home. A Jew, in our own home, this is the first thing. In our own home. Sometimes we are very concerned of what people say, right? But actually, most importantly, what your children say. In your own home, who are you in your home? Who are you as a, you know, as a person in your home? As a father, as a mother, as a husband, as a wife, who are you in your own home? Everything begins from here, right? So Father said, the sages of old had a saying, all is well when there is harmony at home. In the Unification Church, we go a step further and call for harmony with heaven. We must create harmony with heaven everywhere in the cosmos. So this is really important. So really, when there's harmony at home, you know, all is well. Father is saying, this is the old saying, you know, of sages and, you know, people now. But for us, even we go a step further, Father said. For us, you know, we create harmony with heaven. Not only in our home, but of course, that's the basic. Harmony at home. And then we go further, harmony with heaven. A Jew, so we must create harmony with heaven everywhere in the cosmos. This is what we are creating. Now we are already Heavenly Parents Holy Community. We need to create harmony wherever we go. If we meet people from different religions, we're not anymore, you know, with this mindset. Now everything is very clear. What is important is for people to recognize Heavenly Parent. And then how can we work together, centering on one cause, realizing a world of peace? So people don't need to change their religion, right? Most importantly, they need to understand that Heavenly Parent is our Heavenly Parent. God is our Heavenly Parent. So we all need to attend God, right? And then slowly, later on, our true parents as God's representative, our true mothers, the only begotten daughter. And then, how can we work together from people of different religions, from other organizations, whatever, wherever they belong to? How can we work together for the cause of realizing a world of peace? This is what's important now as Heavenly Parents, Holy Community. That's why we have to create harmony wherever we go. If we can create harmony within our, small family, husband and wife first, parents and children, then wherever we go, we can create harmony. Aju. So Father said, we must create harmony with heaven everywhere in the cosmos. Really, as the Bible says, the peacemakers are blessed are the peacemakers. For, kingdom of heaven is with them, right? So that's why really peacemakers, if we can make peace everywhere. Aju, really amazing teachings of our true parents. So really the relationship of husband and wife in the family, everything starts from here. So really important how the father and mother, being conceived by the children, that's the most important. How our children look at us. We should be their first, really model more than anyone. Aju, that's why really this is very important as our children are growing up, really how important it is until they grow old and then already, ready to be much later on. And then they are looking up to their father or their mother, then we will not going to have any problem towards our children. But if our children doesn't look up to their father or their mother, that's really big problem, right? And then very difficult for them to follow also this course that we are going through. Father said, marriage means gathering everything in one package to present to your husband. When a husband and wife have separate bank accounts and say, this is my money and that is your money, is that perfect love? Perfect love goes beyond this and says, my money is as much yours as it is mine. Would you want to set preconditions on your partner before you get married? Or would you ask only for love? Does a person who requires his or her partner to sign a prenuptial agreement really trying to love or just pretending to love? Perhaps he or she is using love. That is not our way. We should live for love. Marriage means gathering together all your power, knowledge, money, and yourself, and putting everything in one package to present to your husband, asking only for his love in return. So when we enter in marriage, so this is the problem in our society now. Even they are making, really before there is like we could hear some topic about making in the Philippines also making really marriage contract like expiring in 5 years or in 3 years. This kind of thing, right, will really destroy our society, will destroy human family. So that shouldn't be the way. So when we enter marriage, Father said, marriage means gathering together all your power, knowledge, money, and yourself, and putting everything in one package to present to your husband or to your wife, asking only for his or her love. This is what marriage means. Putting up everything, one package, you are offering everything to your spouse. And then what you wanted in return only for love. This is what you only wanted, right? So, many nations, they don't want to get married because of this, situation. But because once you get married, everything become conjugal property, your money, if you have house, if you have car, everything. But actually, this is really the real purpose of becoming together, right? Through marriage, really everything will not anymore individual, but really as one. These two beings become one. Everything belongs, to each other. This is really the main purpose. And then centering on love, right? Everything become completely one. So how can really people understand this? So if only people understand this and really understand really the importance and value of marriage, then we will going to save all families. Aju, this is actually what we are doing. So once this happens, really, kingdom of heaven can be realized on earth. Aju. Father said, who is a true husband or true wife? When a true husband or true wife encounters difficulties, he or she does not weep and complain because of the terrible husband or because of the terrible wife. I am ruined. Instead, they weep repentant tears, saying, because I was lacking in devotion, I could not make my husband happy, or I could not make my wife happy. The husband and wife who live together in this manner are a true husband and a true wife. So Father is asking us, who is a true husband or true wife? This is the practice outside, right? You know, we can hear many stories that because of this husband, because of my husband, that's why my life became ruined, because of my wife. But actually outside, they choose their spouse there, right? They choose, they have the freedom, they choose. And then at the end, they complain because of this husband. I committed a mistake of choosing husband, right? That's why this time many stories also we can hear. The most important in life now is to marry the right person. Even, you know, mga successful businessmen now, they are saying, at the end, what's most important is you marry the right person. Yeah, maybe there are some, they marry, you know, good person, but really, what is the perspective? Really, this is really important. That's why marrying a good person, the right person for you, actually Heavenly Parents only knows that. We don't know who is really the right person for us. Because, you know, when you get married, you really do not know the person yet. Even how many years, you know, from outside already, 5 years, 10 years, they're in a relationship, or 15 years before getting married. It's still not enough knowing that person, right? So the best is if you rely with Heavenly Parent. Heavenly Parent will surely give you the best person that you need. Not the person that you want, right? But the person you need, God will surely give you if you just let God. Kaya nga tayo, we are really prepared very well. We are being prepared, right? Then our spouse will, Heavenly Parent will give our spouse to us. And then God will give you the best spouse that you really need. That's why you just need to wait for the right time and prepare well yourself for our young brothers and sisters. There's no ideal man or ideal woman actually. Once you become one, you have to do your best, help each other to make your spouse, your husband, your wife ideal. It's your responsibility. So there's no such thing as ideal man. I'm looking for my ideal man. You can never find your ideal man. You have to make your ideal man. You have to make your ideal woman. You have to make your ideal wife. You have to make your ideal husband. That's your responsibility. So what God's responsibility is give you the right person. When you rely to our Heavenly Parent, you join the matching and the blessing, God will give you the right person. And then your responsibility is to make that right person for you become ideal, the ideal that you wanted, right? The ideal that Heavenly Parent wanted. That's your responsibility as a husband, as a wife. You have to make your spouse ideal. Truly amazing. Where can you find this teaching? Only true parents is teaching this. All people now, young people, they're looking for ideal man. They're looking for ideal woman. They can never find such a person. Because this is the responsibility of the spouse to make that person ideal. Truly amazing. So who is a true husband and wife? Father said, when there are difficulties in the relationship, it's not blaming each other, but look deep in their heart. I lack of many things. That's why I cannot make my wife happy. I'm lacking of many things. That's why I cannot make my wife happy or my husband happy. So this is a true husband or true wife, Father said. Not blaming with the limitations and shortcomings of the spouse. But how can you fill that up, right? Even me, I'm reflecting a lot with our relationship with my wife also. Sometimes, especially, I'm sharing to parents' words every day, especially this time. So every day also how to apply this in our relationship with my wife. How can I develop and really look at these things based on God's perspective and really do my best to fulfill and support my wife and really help my wife and really live such a husband supposed to be based on God's expectation. Really amazing, right? So after we learn today, when we go back home and then we practice in our homes. And yeah, you are actually now together with your spouse. So how to practice in our homes? Practice this in our, so a true husband or true wife, Father said, is someone, instead of looking of the limitation of the spouse, looking deep inside his or her heart, and then repenting, praying in tears, repenting in tears, because I am lacking of many things. That's why I couldn't make my wife happy. I couldn't make my husband happy. I couldn't make my husband happy. This is a true husband. This is a true wife. Aju? So Father said, it is the only path for humans to find happiness and hope. So who is a true wife? A true wife determines that she was born for her husband, lives for him, and would die for him. Only in that place can she be a true wife. Who is a true husband? A true husband determines that he was born for his wife, lives for her, and would die for her. The ideal of God's creation lies in this. Though most people don't realize it, as we practice this, we come to understand the principle: we exist to live for the sake of others. Only by living in this manner can we find true love. Since God set up this principle, it is the only path for humans to find happiness and hope. So what's the most important for people now is happiness, hope, especially during this time of pandemic. Many people lose hope. Many people live life, in loneliness. Really, what's the most important in us is happiness, hope. These are the things that are most important. So since God set up this principle, it is the only path for humans to find happiness and hope, only by living for the sake of others, centering on true love. So that's why a true wife, Father said, determines that I am born. A true wife said, I am born for my husband. I am only born for my husband. I shall only live for my husband, and I shall die for my husband. This is a true wife. And then how about the true husband? A true husband also the same way. I am only, I am born for my wife. I will live only for my wife, and then I will die for my wife. So the ideal of God's creation lies in this, Father said, though most people don't realize it. So this is actually the center. Once we, create this relationship, this understanding, and we live already practicing this in our own relationship with our spouse, and then in our family, truly amazing family we can have. And then naturally, once your family is happy, it will always, like a bottle, or a glass full of water. Once it is full, you continue pour water, it will going to overflow. The same is true with happiness. Mother said, I remember that Mother said, when you are happy, you can never, keep that happiness, but you will going to share it to others. So once husband live life like this, wife live life like this, then they will going to live, they will going to have a happy relationship. They will going to have a happy life. Their entire family, naturally, they will going to share joy and happiness to others. Aju? So Father said, as we practice this, we come to understand that the principle, we exist to live for the sake of others, really living for the sake of others. And then the first other in the husband and wife is your spouse, your husband or your wife. Aju? So the first others is really your spouse as God's representative on earth. And then everything starts from here. And then when your children see you with this beautiful relationship, your children also wants to imitate that. When I have also my spouse, I will going to live the way my parents are living their life. Then all problems will be solved. Kingdom of heaven will be realized naturally. Aju? That's why really how important the family. We are lucky, our nation, the constitution of our nation supports the family. What we just need to do now is to really, capitalize really continuously through education, teaching everywhere, and then all the leaders of our society, even religious leaders everywhere can really understand deeply. And then they will going to see that even our nation supports this. Really one day we can transform our nation. One day we can really transform this world. And really Heavenly Parents' dream will really be realized. So really how important husband and wife relationship is. So we have to perfect this no matter what, even though it's really not easy. But with true parents with us, our true mother now with us, and then with the continuous guidance of true parents through parents' words, one day we can really become the ideal husband, the ideal wife that Heavenly Parent really wanted to see. And then we can really create this kind of family that will really going to bring joy, tremendous joy to our Heavenly Parent and true parents, and really make also our children, grow up to become really filial children of our Heavenly Parents and true parents that really can also follow the way that we are going. Aju, then we will not have any problem raising them up. Aju, really today, we again receive this amazing guidance from our true parents. Let's really offer our gratitude to our Heavenly Parents and true parents. Thank you so much, Heavenly Parents and true parents. And thank you very much to all our beloved brothers and sisters. May Heavenly Parents and true parents' love always be upon you and your families. Let's have a great day today. Thank you very much.
Let's give our hand to our national leader, Leo Angelo Halog. Same time, he is our national president of World Tongil Modo Philippines. So once again, my dear brothers and sisters, we are given a very good signs for us to identify and also make our strategy for our family to be in heaven. So the signs that that our family will be dominated by Satan if husband and wife, children demand love, attention, and care. So he mentioned also that we must have to center the relationship in the family through love. We have to give our attention and love and care. And also our spouse, it represents heaven. And it means if it is represent heaven, we must have to receive with proper attendance with our spouse. And because since our spouse is the representative of heaven, then it's a very important other representative, more than important than nation and the cosmos. And also in Tongil Modo, we have the so-called Chamgajong Ibon. It means we must have to form a true family. And forming a true family, and in the later part of the training, we have another form, we call it a Changju Ibon. We must have to form a heaven. And that's why Chamgajong Ibon is a foundation for the establishment of the family. For us to form the last part in the training is a form of heaven. And in the form of heaven, we must have the so-called Chan-Cha-A-Ju-Guan. It means we have to overcome ourselves, dominate ourselves in order to take care and give attendance to our spouse. And in the last part, we must have the so-called Chan-Ju-Ju-Guan. It means we have to affirm to heaven that we must have to do it. We have to put our determination. So now, my dear brothers and sisters, you can see clearly already on the message of our national leader that who is the right person beside you, that in ups and downs, for better or worse, no other than is our spouse. Thank you so much, Sadyang Nim, our national president and national chairman of our Tongil Modo Federation Philippines, for guidance to all our blessed families and to those brothers and sisters that have an ambition or the determination to have a spouse in the future. For now, we move on to the next part, which is our reflection. Please, brothers and sisters, help me to welcome the President of Tongil Modo in Region 3, Master Froilan Ramos.
Good morning, Heavenly Parents, true parents. Good morning to all of our leaders, to our national leader, Reverend Leo Angelo Halo, always giving us so many inspiration in our morning devotion. So, for how many morning, his message is about husband and wife. So amazing inspiration and teachings of our true parents shared to us by our national leader. Really, husband and wife is so beautiful relationship. I cannot imagine and many times I am reflecting about husband and wife relationship, about my relationship to my wife. maybe I can say I already overcome some difficulties about our relationship, because our relationship is a long distance relationship. I'm here in my province, in my own hometown, and my wife is working in Cavite. So I have with me my 3 kids, and then kasama naman niya yung isang anak namin sa Cavite, studying there. First difficulties I experience is about trust. I don't know how come this problem appear in my mind, and then whenever I entertain this kind of wrong thinking, no, so many bad ideas coming all together, and that is it can destroy your attitude and your relationship, no, to the as husband and wife. But it was a long time ago when I was still very young, and then we overcome it. And then the most important thing that need to understand is that trust, no? That trust to each other. So that is one very important aspects of overcoming, no, the long distance relationship, that trust. So when I develop that trust, so nothing to worry about. So but I just remember that time when I encountered this, no. Anyway, that was a long time ago, and just recently everything is so amazing, no, in our relationship. I think after that I always feel loving my wife, no problem at all, no, even though because we will just meet once in a month, around 4 days along, and then your longingness to each other always there, no. So the time of meeting together is the most precious day of the month, no. Now you will meet each other, no? We will meet each other, so precious, no. I will prepare everything for her coming, and then in our age that and now I'm 52 years of age, still always longing for the wife, like before, and then more and more beautiful relationship we are making. I cannot see now the limitations of my wife. I cannot, in our relationship, I can testify na sometimes he can see me get angry, even though I am not, no. He said why I get angry, but in my heart I am not, even though my voice sometimes is getting higher, but I'm not that angry. So but many times when there is some confrontation, I can always humble down to my wife. I don't know why. If the time the limit comes, so I need to always go down and humble down to my wife, and always longing to the wife. So that's why we didn't really, our misunderstanding is not so big, not so just a small, because I can feel, no, I can always digest yung mga shortcomings and limitations of my wife. I can always humble down and always serving my wife. I cannot imagine I can do that, no. In our house, I'm the one take caring everything, our kids, no, our farm, our kids, our home, washing, cleaning, cooking. So I didn't because my wife is working in Cavite, so I do everything in the house. So even when she comes, and even I go to Cavite, sometimes I can I already have the attitude of doing everything. So this is always the case in our family. And even though I'm so tired, I can always ask my wife, do you like massage? So something like that. And that's why I don't know that my wife really appreciate that. Sometimes I'm asking my wife, are you happy? Do you like us some more? Para bang I'm always asking what does he likes more, what in our relationship, what we improve more. So sometimes I'm asking her, are you happy? So like that. And that is why I cannot see the pollen natures very well to my wife, even though he's maybe even though she has some pollen natures, but I cannot see it anymore. So that's why I'm realizing, no, maybe because we are just meeting a few days in a month, so we cannot really see a strong confrontation to each other, because the time of meeting is so is longingness for each other. So especially this COVID pandemic, whenever she is coming home, I need to pick her up in Cavite, bring her home, bringing her back to Cavite, and then I'm going home, coming back home. It's maybe more than 300 kilometers from our home to Cavite every time we will meet. But this meeting is so precious to each other. So, and that is why I cannot see yet what kind. Even though we have some, maybe that's why that's my reflection. How can I see the really bad attitude of my wife? And it's not coming out. I cannot see it anymore. I don't, because what I'm longing for is always our meeting will be a very wonderful time for our family and for heavenly parents. We are making our precious time more memorable, because only few time we are being together as a whole family. So I see to it that everything is a happy get together. We will be together and we will make a more memorable time together when we are all together as one family. So that's why this husband and wife relationship, I always feel now is so beautiful. No, whenever I meet my wife, I'm always very grateful that we can still see each other, we can spend time together. So precious, no, if we are together with my wife. So I cannot I always see to it that our meeting together is very memorable time for each other and for our family, because we are not always together, no? As one, as physically we are not always together. That's why if we will be together, if there's a time that we will all together as a whole family, I see to it that it is a very memorable. No, we will do our hondoke, our closing together, and then uh, we always I always serve my wife. So always like this, no? My mind is always like this. Whenever my wife is coming, I am already preparing the house, cleaning, washing the clothes, so that we have the time together, and we will spend our quality moments together. Because this is just a few days, no? When she is there, when she is coming, when they're coming home, it's just 3 to 4 days. And then again, babalik na siya ng Cavite. So our routine is like this. So we don't have so much confrontation because of that. And with that, I'm always very grateful. I'm still longing always to my wife. My wife is always beautiful in my eyes. I don't know, even though we are getting old, but she's always remain beautiful as I look at her, always becoming very beautiful in my eyes. So, and then ayun that's why husband and wife relationship is so beautiful and so amazing in my part. I'm always very grateful to heavenly parents and to our two parents that we always love each other. You know, I'm very grateful that I don't know why, but I can always digest. No, I can always sacrifice to my wife, cooking, cleaning. I don't know why, but this is already my longingness to my wife, and I was always very grateful, and I'm always thinking how to make my wife happy. So with that, I'm really I don't know, but this is my way of relationship to my wife up until now, even before, no, and then up until now, and so I want to deepen it more. Maybe when I don't know why, but maybe when we are all together the whole day, maybe that's the time we can really see the true nature of each other. So maybe that's the time we can meet the peakest limit of our patience in our relationship. But for this time that our setup is like this, husband and wife relationship in our family, so I can say I love it, no? And I don't know, but I always feel heaven, no, in our relationship as the husband and wife, and that's why I'm always very grateful. And how to say, always very grateful to heavenly parents and true parents through the blessing we receive, and with the relationship of our children. What I wish is my children will grow up and become also responsible person who can take the responsibility for the providence. So this is I'm always praying and always wishing for my children. So hopefully we can work together, growing up together in the doing our participating in the providence of our of heavenly parents and true parents. Brothers and sisters, thank you so much for the opportunity to share my heart this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Master Froilan Ramos, the President of Tong Ilmodo in Region 3, for your very interesting sharing for this morning with your spouse. And now let's proceed to the Davao in Region 11. Please help me to welcome Master Arnolfo Ortiz. Please, yeah.
Hello, good morning. Naririnig po ba ako?
Loud and clear.
Okay. Good morning. First and foremost, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude for Heavenly Parent and True Parents for allowing me with my family to share this reflection to you, all our brothers and sisters. My reflection for this day's message is that the divine principle, our true parents' words is really amazing. If we could only be able to understand deeply our true parents' words in our heart and in our mind, we would surely be able to realize an ideal family. True parents taught us that selfishness, self-centered heart really brought tragedy in the family. Once a husband and a wife complained with each other, really disaster would happen to that family. Now, in relation with our family, me and my wife, my second self, have been together for more than 25 years. And we have children. And I really find it really different if our partner, if the husband and wife are living together with true parents' words, centering on a heavenly parent, true parents, is really different. In fact, many neighbors are saying, why are my children are different from the other children? And that's the beginning for us to share true parents' words to them. Now, selfishness, self-centered heart really is the beginning of disaster. It is where Lucifer became Satan. And Lucifer, Satan, transferred that selfishness, that self-centered heart to Adam and Eve. That's why Adam and Eve became false parents, fallen parents. They could no longer be able to center their lives through the word of God. And they could no longer become true parents. Now, realizing that selfishness is the root cause of our suffering, the root cause of disaster, of the breakdown of each family, as true Father said, it is for that very reason that the divine principle, our true parents' words, is really very, very important. And the most important word that we need to absorb in our heart and our mind as God's children. Because unless we absorb, we understand, we learn, we understand, we practice true parents' words, there can be no true happiness, there can be no true love that would be practiced in our family. So that's why I really, really appreciate, especially today's message, that guys, each and every family members, each and every husband and wife, to really understand, believe, and practice with sincerity in our heart our true parents' words every day, participate in this hondoki every day, so that the more we understand, the more we becomes mature. And the more we becomes mature, the more that we can practice true parents' words in our family. And for that, we will become someday, one of these days, all of us would become Chunbu families. That we will become the tribal true parents in our tribe. That is the most important thing for us that I really realize in my heart in these true parents' words today. So that's why I realize that the more we practice true parents' words every day, the more that we will be able to eliminate those complaints, those bad habits of husband and wife. And the more we will become mature, the more we'll be able to become closer and closer and becoming one with our true parents, with our heavenly parents. And that is for me, that is the very essence of becoming Chonbo families. And I would like to congratulate and really appreciate our brothers and sisters who were able to reach to the level of Chonbo families. And I sincerely pray that each and every one of us would be able to realize and be able to achieve that very goal of our true mother, that all of us would be able to establish an ideal family centering on true parents' words, and that we would be able to share these words of our true parents to all the people around us, to as much as we can reach out. And all of us will become, will be able to achieve that the level of Chonbo families. So with that, I would like to sincerely give thanks and express my heartfelt gratitude to our beloved National President for giving us this, sharing us these words of true parents to us, so that we will be able to have develop more our heartfelt commitment and dedication in order to realize what Heavenly Parent would want us to realize in this world, and that is to establish the kingdom of heaven in this world. That would be all, and thank you so much, brothers and sisters. Good morning to all of us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, our Master Arnie, Master Arnolfo Ortiz, the President of Tong Ilmodo Federation in Region 11, Davao, for your reflection this morning. Thank you so much. And now, my dear brothers and sisters, please fasten your seat belt because there's still marami pa nakalinya para mag-share. At we would like to ask one of the isa sa father na maaruga, mapagmahal. Please help me to welcome one of the professor and the Grandmaster of Tong Ilmodo in Japan. Please help me to welcome Master Rafi Ablong.
Takot naman yung introduction. Good morning, Heavenly Parents and True Parents. Good morning, our dear National Leader. Good morning, brothers and sisters in the Philippines. Mabuhay po kayong lahat. I'm thankful that Master Bernard gave me this opportunity to speak. I just wrote down 12 points I have learned from and reflected from the message of our National Leader today. Wait, my timer is 5 minutes. Okay. Master Bernard mentioned about the Tong Ilmodo forms, and he was saying like in Tong Ilmodo we have the form of the true home, and it talks about our relationship with brothers and sisters on our right side, left side, and especially in our family with our wife or husband. The second one is he talked about Gadyong Wibon, which is actually the form of creation. And it talks about how to dominate ourselves to master the universe. And there's a form after that. We call it the form Victory of Heaven. And it speaks about the counter-attacking movements and some techniques to overcome the attacks of the opponent. But basically, in our time, in this morning devotion, we are talking about the relationship of husband and wife, the bad and good points of husband and wife. For me, when I think about this important relationship of a husband and wife, it is very reflective of the course of heaven, of heavenly parents after the fall of Adam and Eve. It basically tells us that the restoration of husband and wife is basically the overcoming of husbands and wives of their bad points, of their difficulties in being together. So these are my 12 points now. The central point of marriage is love. In our case, it is God's love, because for the 30,000 couples, we said, make ideal families, make the ideal world through ideal families. So we marry because of love, God's love, not because of the love that was given to us through our spouse. So we learn God's love first before our spouse's love. So honestly, we feel this as first generation. We followed through parents, matching for us, because we know it is coming from God. It is coming from heaven. It is a match made by heaven, not by us. Next point is connection, tradition, and service keeps the protection, unity, and harmony at home. If we are not connected to the church, we do not receive daily messages from true parents, or we don't do hunduke at home or do traditions at home, then conflicts, misunderstanding easily happens. So to overcome this, to avoid this kind of situation, we need to connect actively to the church. We need to connect actively to our brothers and sisters. We need to do our tradition, and we need to do public service. This is very important to keep the unity and harmony of the family at home, centering on heaven's will. The next one is when there's a fight between husband and wife, me as a husband should actively listen first and react later after prayer. So these are two important things. Listen first, react later. I have learned this one. I'm now 60 years old. I just turned 60 last October. So I can say how I behaved during the first 3 years of my marriage up until now. It was very rough at first. Very, we are going up on the mountain the years after that. And now it's almost peace, everyday peace. I'm enjoying my life with my wife. It's like that. There were times when we fight, I have to go out and sleep in the park with my backpack and everything in it. So even if it's cold, I can survive. There were times when I have to stay outdoors to keep my family safe while we have an argument with my wife. But those times are over. Those times are gone. Those were the times when I had to learn from the very difficult and sad experiences of family life. So the next point is we need to look at each other from God's viewpoint from different angles. If we fight, if we argue, we need to look at our wife as heavenly daughter, heavenly wife, my sister, my aunt, my friend. So these are many different angles that we can deal with, that we can use when we deal with arguments or conflicts or disagreements at home. We need to look at how God and true parents would solve the problem or would solve the argument if we are not in agreement with each other. If we fight, we need to think how God and true parents would solve the situation, putting ourselves in the heart of heaven, with the heart of heaven, with the heart of true parents, so we can solve the problem. The other one is we need to accept each other's uniqueness with humility and gratitude, especially for international couples. It's very, very, very hard because there is language, there's culture, there's family background, there are sad experiences between you and your wife when you were away from each other, when you were not matched or married. These things will play out during those hard moments in life. So we need to accept each other, be humble, and listen attentively to each other. When I say active listening, it means looking at your wife's eyes, listening to her intently. Do not leave her when she's talking, because you will receive a lot of, machine gun fire. Okay? So we need to really listen to our wife. We need to show to her that we love her, even though she is like this. Okay? The other one is we need to help each other fulfill our responsibilities. We all have responsibilities to do at home, at church, at work. But we can help each other. If the wife cannot do it, try to find a way to do it. If the husband cannot do it, the wife should, try to help wherever she can help. We need to, the amazing things in the movement is, at first, we love God before we love each other. The other one is for my situation here in Japan, especially when we started Commando here, we usually fight for other people. We fight because of, we argue because of donation, how much to give. We don't have much money now, so why do we need to give this amount like this? You need to settle your differences. So which one is priority? What is more prior? What is number one priority? What is number two priority? You need to really organize your thoughts and your heart about this before you start, even arguing. Next one is we need to explain to children why we fight after fighting. And this will happen maybe after a week. I usually do this at home. We have our own, after home to care, after Sunday service, I explain why we fight, or what are the 7 ways to overcome fighting, or these conflict resolution techniques: compromise, negotiate, avoid, something like that. Okay. And then the last one, the next is international couples, language, culture, and family background play out during the fight. So we need to be able to overcome this by making a very good plan even before it happens. And the last one that I need to share, 2 points. True love conquers everything. And for husbands, our motto should be happy wife, happy life, centering on God. Thank you very much, brothers and sisters. Mabuhay po kayong lahat.
Thank you so much, Master Rafi, for a very wonderful sharing of your reflection. We were able to learn once again, happy wife, happy life. Thank you so much. And now, my dear brothers and sisters, let's welcome the Grandmaster of Heart. Hindi lang yung sa pamilya ang pagmamahal sa Pilipinas, kundi buong mundo na. Please help me to welcome our Grandmaster, Benos Agustin.
Thank you so much, our national leader, for your guidance. Also to Bernard for giving me that chance. And this is, I usually not give, I'm not usually giving my volunteer reflections, but I was really moved by the message. The good and bad of husband and wife. Yeah. Anyway, but I cannot speak of myself, but I can speak of my wife. Who is my wife? Actually, he is my Messiah. She is my Messiah. When she came to Manila, with Philippines, way back in 1991, no English. We started our 3-day ceremony in 1991. She came with that heart of living, dedicating, and understanding that she belong to Philippines. That's I found out later. My wife started her mission in the kitchen. For how many years? I cannot count. Serving and serving and serving. And usually I saw her tears flowing always in her eyes. For 3 years, she cannot speak English. Only after that, she can say yes, yes, and no. The good points for my wife is she understands the principle. But there are many bad points that I consider that almost our blessing broke up. First, when she came, we don't have place to sleep as a couple. I sleep in the exit area of the building, and she sleep in the sister's room like sardines. She lost hope, so she asked me to change her ticket back to Korea, and I tried my best not to adjust the flight. And what saved our blessings is my prayer, my dedications, that our blessings is not an individual blessing, but a marriage between Philippines and Korea. And that there is a significant future impact on this relationship. I pray hard on that. I set a lot of conditions, never cease to make that conditions. And then she dreamed. Her ancestors appeared to him, scolded her why she is giving up the blessing. The next morning, when she saw me, she told me later that I become so handsome, not beautiful, handsome, and that concluded our 3-day ceremony. That's a good point. There are many bad points that I experienced with my wife. But the bad points become the kind of strength that our relationship grows. The bad points is not really a bad, but perhaps I can coin the word heavenly bad points. Because of her, I became a man. I was reborn. I just want to be frank with you that my wife's dedication in serving public, she don't ask for any remuneration until this very year when she was replaced by Mrs. Kino-san. She don't have any remuneration in serving our headquarters. That's an exemplary I can testify to my wife. That's a public service. She said that my service, I did not ask for any remuneration. That's, I can testify for my wife. So that's a public service. That's, we call it your service to heavenly parents and true parents. For me, I cannot speak for myself. Maybe my wife can tell about me, but I cannot speak about myself. Maybe my wife can. Even about my head, when I cut my hair, she's the one who said, "Oh, you look more handsome." So I believe her. So what is the point of why I said like this? Because I want to share to everyone that when you dedicate yourself to heavenly parents, true parents, with such a heart, then even without remuneration, without any salary, your heart is at peace. And that is my wife, I can testify. So our relationship grows. We don't have child for 10 years. But when Sokjun came to our life, there's a difference. Before Sokjun came to our life, simple matters become so complicated. But when Sokjun came to our life, all simple matters has no Nothing, meaning we don't talk about. So really, four-position foundation is a very important in a family. That's why I came to understand more the value of the blessings and the purpose of international blessing. And that is to really contribute in the promotion of true parents' expectations to promote world peace. This is my just testimony about my wife, but I cannot speak of myself. I'm sorry. But in my almost 40 years, I'll be 40 years in my being considered as dedicated to true parents for next year. So I am really encouraging everybody also to really reflect of who we are and what's our public mission, what's our responsibility. We should not forget that our basic responsibility can be the microcosm of that is our relationship with our wife and with our husband. That's all I can share with that. Thank you so much and good morning.
Thank you so much, our Grandmaster Venus Agustin, the Supreme Grandmaster of Love. So your love is the reflection of what we receive from you in the Philippine Tungil Modo and the rest of the world. So thank you so much, our Grandmaster Venus Agustin. So you observe, brothers and sisters, that most of the who give reflection are the Father. They are great. They are the martial heart of our heavenly parent. And now, my dearest brothers and sisters, let's move on to our news and announcement. Please help me to welcome our HQ staff to give us the announcement.
Good morning to all our leaders, brothers and sisters. Here are the news and announcement. We invite all blessed families and members to the second HPHC Family Service tomorrow, November 12, 2021 at 6 a.m. Manila time. Our very own Chaniwan Chair, Dr. Robert Kittal, will be the speaker. The HPHC Family Service is a more internal service for all blessed families and members to attend our beloved Heavenly Parents together. This will serve as our Sunday family service, and it will be held every 8th day. And Sunday is a time to welcome and accommodate more people through Peace Festival events. So once again, we invite all our members and blessed families to our HPHC Family Service tomorrow at 6 a.m. Manila time. Next, the National Blessed Children Committee with the Blessed Family Department invites all blessed children aged 13 years old and above and parents to the third batch of Level 1 Pure Love and Blessing Workshop on November 13, 2021 from 9 a.m. to 12 noon Manila time via Zoom. The workshop aims to educate blessed children on the value of purity and significance of the blessing. Blessed children who have attended previous Pure Love and Blessing Workshop batches are still encouraged to join. There is a registration fee of 100 pesos per family. Please note that the registration is by individual and payment is per family. Kindly register through the link flash on your screen or contact the NBCC President, Mr. Victor Abanyo at 0920-468-9383 or email at bcphdrive@gmail.com. Next, the National Education Department will have the 21-day series of the Divine Principles virtual seminar from November 15 to December 5, 2021, every 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Manila time. There will be a registration fee of 1,200 pesos. And a 7-day series Divine Principles seminar from November 16 to 22, every 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. with 210 registration fee. For inquiries, please contact Ms. Marvick Marvic Advincula at 0965-981-2179. Next, on November 20 and 21, there will be the online Asia Pacific Sunday School Teachers Training Workshop. The workshop is for current and former Sunday school teachers, teachers who want to teach at Sunday school, and for all interested, blessed families and members aged 18 years old and above. For requirements, first, finish the Divine Principle Seminar, and second, can understand the blessing lecture. For more information, please contact Mrs. Kaya Halog, the Head of Education Department, for blessed children aged 3 to 12 years old at her phone number 0967-246-9149. Next, this coming November 27, the HJ Chonbo Asia Pacific branch will hold its 12th Yojong Chonbo special online event. We encourage all blessed families and members to join in this very significant event. The eligible members to apply for the Ancestors' Liberation and Blessing are the following. First, they have to be at least 18 years old. Blessed family, meaning have received the blessing or is a blessed child, or have already drunk one of the following holy wine with a benediction from church pastor. First, Foundation Day Holy Wine, last 2013. Second, Chunilguk Holy Wine, last 2016. And Tribal Messiah Holy Wine for blessing. And single blessed member or blessed member but not yet started a family. For registration, please email at hjcbfields@gmail.com or message at the official Chonbo Facebook page, Chonbo Fields, HJ Chonbo Fields. And the registration is until November 24, 2021. And last, a reminder to all blessed families and members about the Yojong offering. The purpose of this special donation is our offering to our beloved True Mother and to support the launching of the Pacific Christian Leadership Conference. You can send your donation until November 30, 2021. And the donation amount for blessed family at least 2,100, and for individuals or single members at least 700 pesos. You may send your precious donations to the following bank accounts flash on your screen. For peso donation, you can send it to PNB Peso account, and for dollar donation, you can send it to BPI dollar account. That's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And additional announcement, there will be a realignment workshop for all Tongilmodo regional officers from regional president down to vice president, secretary, treasurer, auditor, regional chief instructor, and assistant instructor. And that will be on November 18, 19, 20, 7 to 9 p.m. in the evening every day. It's a series of realignment workshop. Hope that everybody can join. So my dear brothers and sisters, thank you so much. And now let's proceed for our closing prayer. We may request our Master Marisa Arbulario, our National Treasurer.
Good morning po. Am I heard, Master?
Loud and clear.
Okay, let us pray. Let us close our eyes and let us feel the presence of our Heavenly Parents, our true parents. Father, we're grateful and thankful for this another day, for the noteworthy internal guidance of our beloved national leader. Truly, we are guided, Heavenly Parents, your words and your principle. We hope and pray, Heavenly Parents, that you can apply all our learnings and our realizations in our everyday living, Heavenly Parents. We may experience different struggles, different difficulties where we are tested, like our faith, our loyalty, our trust towards our partners. But at the end of the day, Heavenly Parents, if we choose love, if we choose to compromise with each other, then everything will be okay. Thank you so much, Heavenly Parents, for never failing us, to guide us always, Heavenly Parents, and to motivate us through our leaders, our elders, Heavenly Parents. May we have a grateful day today, Heavenly Parents, and through this message, may we can make this as our motivation and inspirations to move forward and to spread your love, Heavenly Parents. Thank you so much once again. And this prayer I would like to offer and report to you in our name, Donald and Marisa Arbolario, Central Blessed Family, Aju.
Thank you so much, Master Marisa Arbolario. And now, let's internalize the message and the reflection that we received this morning through our individual prayer. Thank you so much to our heavenly parents and victorious true parents, and to our national leaders, Reverend Leo Angelo Halog, and to Master Adonis Arcilias, and also Jennifer Bertolto for the reading, and also to the 10 points of gratitude, Master Leslie Dunuan, and also the performance of our Tungil Mudo. Thank you so much. And also to the one who gave us reflection this morning, Master Froilan, Master Arnolfo Ortes, Master Rafi Ablong, and Grandmaster Benos Agustin, and also for our HQ staff, and also to our Master Marisa Batiancila, and to all brothers and sisters around the world, and also to the different islands of the Philippines. Thank you so much for joining our Hondoke this morning. Good morning, everyone.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning,
Thank you, Master Bernard.
Thank you, Master.
Greetings
Morning
from
po.
Manila, Brad.
Bless everyone. Thanks,
Everyone.
Morning po.
To
Good
Dr.
morning sa ating
Vicky
lahat.
for
Thank
a
you.
wonderful
Good morning,
sharing.
everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Morning.
Have a nice day.